channel here at Obscene Studios. Today we are doing a part 2 bridge install. Earlier, a few days ago, you guys saw me replace the bridge on the 5-string side of this double neck bassoon guitar that I conveniently named Crip for reasons that I have told you about in the playlist of this guitar. But however, the bridge that come on it was not ideal, especially with this real thick B string up here. I think it was made for a whole lot lighter gauge string than the strings that I bought. But I wanted D'Addario flat wound, and I knew that when I got it and looked at the B string that the bridge itself wasn't going to be sufficient for this thick of a B string. However, wow. I mean, just what a difference just that made by itself. Improved the action. It's just amazing. It turned out really good. I couldn't believe it would make that much difference on this side. So today we are going to the other side of the guitar. This bridge, if you'll notice, I want to, well, number one, I kind of wanted a black one here too to kind of, offset. But I'll show you the reason why this is a not ideal bridge either. And we are actually going to put it on the bench and change that out today. And I thought, hey, why not? Let's bring all of my friends along with me for this journey and stick on a new 7-string bridge for that side. This one should bolt right into the same screw pattern that's on there. It should fit exactly. And this is going to help us in a lot of ways, and I'll explain how in just a second. Okay, now here's the problem that we're having. On this bridge, now, and don't get me wrong, it's this style of guitar requires the bridge to where there's holes under the bridge that the ball of the strings has to set in. And in order to change your strings, the bridge has to come off. And in order for the bridge to come off, there are 4 screws. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. The problem is that these saddles are completely square on the back. So in order to change the strings on this guitar, you have to move these saddles all the way forward, and just about the time they clear the holes for these screw holes or these screws to be exposed and take it off, the saddles will come off. And it's just a really big headache. Do not like it at all. When I seen it, and this was complained to the company about, which, like I said in the last video where we replaced the other side, this is basically the only kind of bridge that they have for this model of guitar. The only source that they have is this bridge right here. Of course, being in China or wherever they're at over there, I could see, whatever. But we have something that may be the solution to the problem. I don't know if you can tell, but these saddles are a lot more open in the center. The grooves are deeper, for another thing, and the backs are rounded. Let me turn this light so you can see a little bit better. The backs are rounded, so the only two that I should have to move forward will be these two, because on your low string intonation, usually these saddles have to come back quite a ways, but I'm not sure yet. We'll have to look at it once it's intonated. But yes, you have to take all of these, uh, just about all of them except for the last couple on this one, completely out just to access the screws. And this one, I will be able to access 3 out of the 4, I know for sure. And then these up here, may we are going to try and save these strings because this is a Diodario set that is not old at all. It still has a lot of life left in them. Only been on this guitar for probably a month, so we're going to do our best to try and save these strings so that we don't have to change them. But if something happens and we need to, we have another set that we can use in case, one gets accidentally broke or something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through what has to be done to get this thing off of here. I do not like it, but have to loosen this one all the way up. I know that there is a design to where the strings can come through the back as opposed to coming up through the bridge like this and just being the ball setting in the body. But the problem with that is that this is such a low profile on this bridge that I was afraid if I went the other route and I got the other one that it was going to create more problems than anything. And this one is going to fight me, of course. And this one, I think we should be able to get to that one. But even you can't even raise these things up to get them out of the way. It's just, and it's so where it comes around the edge like this, most of the time you could just flip it up on its side, but you can't even do that on these. It's such a tight fit. So I know some of you are thinking, well, why don't you just flip it up on its side? Well, it's because it will not. You can see here it tries, but they're fit so close together that it won't allow it to flip up on its side to get access to the screws. Okay, as you can already see, I've had to take these 3 saddles off just to get some room to where I can move these right here a little. But this is the problem. This is the whole reason why I despise this this saddle or this bridge, is because it's a very poor design. And even the one I'm putting on there is not the best. I am not going to sit here and say, hey, this is the best bridge I've ever had, because it's not. It's still, you have to take the entire bridge off just to change the strings. But it is a better design to where at least you don't have to take the saddles off in order to change the strings. And that was the problem with this, because here's the deal. When you start taking all these little minor pieces, little tiny pieces, springs, stuff like that, and you start laying them out, all it takes is just one bump or something, and they're in the floor, and then those springs will probably travel between here and Chicago, Illinois, and you'll never see them again. And I am just the person to have luck like that. So, yeah, that's exactly what I have to deal with as a musician. That is my luck, hands down. Hey guys, Casey stepping in here just to say howdy. How are you? If you're liking the content so far, go ahead and kind of do the clickety click thing on the like button and subscribe. You can even leave a comment if you want to, and I won't charge you a dime. So let's just turn right around and get back right to the frustration that I am suffering. Okay, got those strings out of there. We're going to give her a good cleaning real quick. Get her wiped down, get this grime off of her. Get her shined up pretty good. Sorry about that. I don't know if any of you out there that watches these videos are anywhere close to Tennessee or the South in general, and I'm talking about the Bible Belt. Uh, I don't know if y'all suffer with allergies or not, but if you don't suffer with allergies where you are right now, let me tell you, move to Tennessee. You'll know what it's like. My whole family has suffered with allergies for a really long time. And the thing about it is that as a kid, you don't never think much about it, you know. And I always hear that if you suffer with allergies when you're young, that when you get older, you don't suffer at all with them. Well, I never suffered with allergies when I was young, but now that I'm older, man, tell you what, I'm talking about just horrible. It's rough, rough, rough. Okay, now I'm going to get out. I'm going to check these frets, make sure that I've not got any raised since the last time. So I kind of knew once the fretboard was conditioned that there might be some issues with some frets being raised up. And it looks like to me, because right, I can tell that I might be able to get my handy dandy persuader out and get this thing beaten into submission and not have to worry about doing any fret filing or anything, because I think that's what's happening. I've got two ends that's popped up. These two ends have popped up. This one all the way across acts like it's up some, and this one down here. So let me run and get a hammer and get my trusty little piece of wood. This one is a little bit different than the last one. I've got my handy dandy little piece of wood out here. Now I've already went down and got all of them to here, and now I'm going across to right here. Uh, let's call this the persuader. There you go. I'd write something on the hammer that I'm using, but my son bought me this hammer back years ago. I rarely use it for anything except for guitar, so it stays inside all the time. But it says, Dad always fixes what's broken. And I thought that was the coolest gift uh, and everything. So, CJ, if you're watching this, son, I use this all the time and I love you. Okay, so we have done these. Let's see, right here. We fixed the problem with those. Fixed the problem with the high fret there and there on the ends. And number 13 is good all the way across. And number 15 is good all the way across. But once we get to right here, there's a little bit of rot, not much. It gets more prominent on this side of this fret than it does throughout the rest of them. So anyway, I'm sorry. I thought I was recording. My phone links to my wife's car through Bluetooth, and she was leaving, and so it hooked up through that. And but let me go through and explain. What I did up here was you can't support it with this. And if you notice this neck, it's being supported down here, but this neck is all just unsupported. So like when I done this fret over here, I put my hand in under and I reached around and held the piece of wood like this. And I pushed up just under the neck right there and held that up and whack. And until that one laid down, and then I done both sides like this. Now on this side over here, what I did was just hold between the two fingers like that and then whack right on this end here. And then here I done basically all the way across while pushing up underneath, whack all the way across. And none of these need filed. None of them need recrowning or anything because this is a spruce wood. It's soft, but it's not soft enough to just not do the work. It will push them down. And then the same thing over here. I just went to this side over here, whack. Well, this one is right in the neck pocket. So we don't have to worry about that because that energy is going to travel through to the bottom neck. I don't think there'll be anything to worry about here. So let's go ahead and let's see, find a spot that's not got a lot of grooves in it. Every now and then I have to kind of knock the grooves out on my little piece of my little persuader piece. And I know some of you out there right now are just flipping out like, oh my Lord, I can't believe what he's doing. Please help that guitar. But I want to tell you something. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that laid right in there. Heck yeah. I had a lot of buzz coming from there the last time I played this. But back to what I was saying. I hate sanded. I hate it with a passion. I know how to file frets. I do know how to do that. And recrown them, sand them down, get them all level. I know how to do all that. Do I enjoy doing that? Absolutely not. All right. Oh, she's shiny, she's shiny, she's shiny. Okay, you guys know the deal. Up next comes the fretboard conditioner, so I'm not going to make you wait through that. I'll just go ahead and do that, and then we will go straight into getting this bridge on and getting the strings on and through my little string trees. I know that a lot of you do not like the string trees, and I don't either. Some of those cheap string trees that you get on some guitars just absolutely suck. I don't like them at all. But these string trees are beveled. They're like this, so there's no binding of the strings. They move freely underneath those trees, and this guitar needed it. It needed it really bad. So, but yeah, I will return in just a second, and we'll see what we can do about getting this bridge put on here and getting everything up to par. Look at that! Isn't that a thing of beauty? Good slick dressing on the fretboard. Yeah, yeah, that looks great. Okay, so let's look at the bridge that we are going to be installing. Man, that's gonna look great. I think the whole blackout look down here looks awesome. I'm even thinking about getting black knobs for the bottom and the top. Just getting a set of them and redoing those. I think that'll look awesome. But you know, when I got this guitar, I wanted it to be a modded platform. I wanted it to uh, I wanted it to be something that I could improve to my likings over time, and I feel like that it has become exactly that. Uh, I'm more and more in love with it the longer I have it. And looky here, I can get the screws in without having to take the saddles off. Get them in here just a little bit, and then I'm going to put the big screwdriver on it. That way I've got something I can grip a hold of. But all of them are going to fall right into place, and all I had to do was let these two right here out. The rest of them was good enough on their own. Uh, so I will say, if you have this problem on any bridge like that junky one that come off of here that has landed in file 13, if you don't know where that is, it's in the garbage, then know that this is a really good bridge replacement if you have no other option. We're strung back up, and now we're going to intonate it, so I thought I would bring you in for the intonation process. First, we're going to get our tuning back up. Now, these are brand new Diodario XLs. It's the only, I've made mention in my last video about a local guitar shop that comes by that I frequent very often because they're so helpful and they're just a good bunch of people. It is a ways to get there for me, but I am there about once a week. So I generally, if I have to get anything, I stop in. But however, I decided to go ahead and get these the other day when I was over there, and because I told them I had this bridge coming in just in case I broke a string or something like that, that I would need new strings for it, and I don't want to, substitute one new string and a bunch of old strings, which they weren't really old, but all in all, I'm just kind of my luck. You know what I'm saying? My luck. That's all I'm gonna say. I knew nothing ever goes easy for me. Uh, Not that I'm complaining. Don't get your wires crossed about that. I am not complaining. Uh, it's just part of life, and it happens. So we all run into it, and if you can learn a lesson from it, then it was all. It wasn't all for naught. Okay, we're A there. Now, what you want to do when you intonate, of course, a lot of you probably know, but just for my beginner viewers out there that are getting into guitar, intonation is a process that you have to do to your guitar, your strings. So when you hit a G note right here and you come up here and hit the same G note here, you don't want this note to be sharp or flat from this note here. So you want to keep it in tune all the way up the board. So intonation is a process to where you pluck the string, like this string I'm keeping tuned down to A. And once you get that tuned perfectly to A, right there, you come up to the 12 string, you hit A. And if it goes sharp on the 12 string, then your saddle has to be longer, or your string has to be longer, so you have to adjust your saddle back. She is all intonated up. I have went through the saddles and fine-tuned those. We have no dead frets anywhere. I did have to raise the D string saddle because I was getting a real bad buzz right there. But when I looked at it, it was quite a bit lower than the other one. So, and she's intonated completely, like I said. And that's the video, guys. Got her straightened out. Still need to lower the low A string, and raise that E string just a hair. No dead frets, just better actions, what I'm looking for. I really apologize for the sound, guys. Just trying to get this interface worked out and get it to running right and sounding right. It's a whole lot to kind of wrap your head around when you start micing stuff. And I didn't even mic the guitar. I run straight into the head rush, straight to the interface, straight to you guys. And for some reason, I don't know why, it's I think I've got my gain levels a little too high, and I need to drop that back and start adding some mids, and knocking out the lows and adding some highs. I don't know. It's a work in progress. This one's a whole lot different than the last one that I had. Uh, but yeah, hope that by watching this, you learned how to do something today. For all you new guitar players, for those that are returning to the channel, I hope it was not too boring. I generally needed to knock this out, and now, old Crip is looking good on both sides. He's blacked out down here at the bottom. We did polish up his frets and get them all shiny, and we conditioned the fretboard. Tried to save the old strings, didn't work out, but got it done. Ended up, turning out really well. But that's all I got for today, folks. I appreciate y'all stopping in. I appreciate the likes, the comments, people that subscribe. Always look forward to meeting new people. Hit me up in the comments if you got questions about stuff that you would like to see, stuff that I could do. I'm kind of new at this, and I'm like 50 videos in, and I'm still learning, and I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but that's the beauty of it. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, later.